Welcome to Bryer's Music Showcase. I'm Bryer and welcome back to another video. So this is kind of a follow-up video to a video I did back in March, and in that video I basically just went over my vinyl collection that I have accumulated up to that point. Well, about 6 months has passed, and I think the time is right to kind of show what else I've bought since then. Now, some of them I've shown in videos at some points here and there, but a good chunk of these I haven't shown, so it'll be a nice little surprise for some of you who are just curious to see what I've gotten, since March. So, if you enjoy these types of videos, please give this a like, subscribe if you're new, and let's just jump right into it. So I did pick up one 45 single. And, again, I've said before, I probably won't get as many. At this point, I only have 3 in total. But every so often, if there's one specific single I want to get, then maybe I'll consider it. And this was one I definitely wanted. So this is a 45 single of Genesis, and this is for the single Into Deep, which of course was the ballad. Now there's 2 versions of this. I specifically wanted the UK version. And the reason why is because the UK version has an unreleased song that was written during the Invisible Touch sessions, but was just the B-side, and that is the instrumental track, Do the Neurotic. And yeah, the Do the Neurotic is a very great instrumental. I still kind of prefer the Brazilian, honestly, because I just like the quirky nature of it. But yeah, this is cool. And of course, I'm a sucker for ballads, as many people know. So it's good to have this on the song Into Deep as a single as well. And it'll be a nice little substitute because I do one day want to get the Invisible Touch on vinyl, but for right now, this is going to be good for now. So yeah, that's the only 45 single I've gotten since that original video. So now let's get into the records themselves. So let's go on to the first one. So I want to say this is like maybe 17 records that I have here. So the first one to show off is this one, and that is the band with their second album. Again, rest in peace to Robbie Roberson. There he is right there. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead. Let's take out everything here and let's showcase what's included. So let's look at the record itself. What's cool about the record, especially the sleeve, is that it's actually in a nice sturdy cardboard. It has a nice texture to it that you don't really see that often in record sleeves. But yeah, it feels very nice. If you get your hands on this, then just feel it. You definitely feel a difference. Maybe if I get closer, maybe you'll see the texture, but it's very nice. Okay, and then there's the back, of course, giving you all the credits. Gives you the track listing there. Then it's also a gatefold as well. So you just open it up. There it is. Just gives you nice photos of the sessions and all the band members live. It's just very cool. So let's go ahead. Let me just show off the record itself. So it's on the Capitol label. So here it is. Let me get a little closer so you can see. And side 2 is the exact same. So very good, and it sounds really great too. And it is an original pressing, by the way. So yeah, and it just came with this just paper sleeve, which I still keep around. So yeah, it's a great album. Glad to have it on record. Yeah, it sounds incredible. And especially for its age. Again, I think I've said this before in a past video, but it's good to find original pressings because you're kind of holding a piece of history. At least that's how I like to describe it. Ooh, don't let the record slide out on me. There you go. All right, so that's the first one. Now this one is probably going to be the crowning jewel to a lot of people, and I wouldn't argue with that. And this is an original pressing as well. This is the Beatles' Abbey Road. So like I said, this is an original US pressing. Very lucky to find it, and still sounds really great for its age. So of course we all know how iconic this album is. I mean, it's my favorite Beatles album, so of course I had to get it. I couldn't pass it up. But yeah, of course we have the iconic album cover with them crossing the streets. So yeah, great iconic shot. And one thing you can tell this is an original pressing is that if you go to the back and you go to the track listing, hopefully you can see, but on most modern pressings or most modern like issues, they'll include Her Majesty, but as you can see, it is not included because at that point it was just like a little hidden track. So that's very cool. And of course it's on the Apple label. So let me take that out real quick. And it also came with a paper sleeve. So of course it has the Apple for side 1, and then I'll take this one out to showcase side 2 because side 2 is where the Apple is cut in half. Very nice little attention to detail, I must say. So let's go ahead and put this back in, and then we will continue. By the way, as I go along, at the end of the video, go ahead and you can leave a comment, let me know out of all these records which ones were your favorite. It could be your #1 favorite, could be maybe your top 5 that you've seen, whatever. Just always good to see comments down below as usual. Now this one to me is one of my crowning jewels. This is one I definitely wanted to get because I love this artist to death. And that artist is Kate Bush with Hounds of Love. And this is a Japanese pressing, by the way. So very interesting. And you can tell it's Japanese in the sec, but yeah. Yep. Love it as well. One of my favorite albums ever. I talked about this album to death, so I'm not going to go into specifics, but yeah, I did a ranking video on her catalog, so yeah. So put that there for now. Let's see what they included. So it does give you the lyric sheet. So here it is. So there's the lyrics for side 1. On the back you have side 2. And here they actually give you a Japanese version. So yeah, that tells you this is a Japanese issue right away. If you have these like separate card. And then here is the label. I'm not going to show side 2 because it looks the exact same. Okay, let's go ahead. Just go ahead and put these away and we will keep going. Oh, and by the way, one thing I forgot to mention is that the sleeve that the record's in right now is actually not the original. I actually do have it. It actually came in this like little circular type of sleeve here, inner sleeve. It's kind of interesting, kind of cool. A little something different, you know. Oops, put it on the side. There we go. By the way, if I sound a little bit off, just know it's morning. I still have to record videos in the morning because it still gets kind of warm these days. So yeah, some mornings I'm totally fine, nothing wrong. But mornings like this, I'm like, I'm still a little bit groggy. But I still continue. The show must go on, shall we say. And also, good way to mention is that also I am back in college at the moment. So, yep. So that's going to be happening, and my work schedule might change as well. So, there might be a time where videos might slow down a bit. Maybe at least once a week. We'll see how it goes. But regardless, hopefully you'll still enjoy what I have in store. All right, moving on. I think I've shown this before maybe, but I also got Phil Collins, No Jacket Required. Again, love Phil Collins, and this is a great album. So, yep, this was definitely one I wanted to get. So, not much to say on the artwork. It's pretty straightforward. It did come with the original inner sleeve, where you have Phil in the suit, and then you have the lyrics and credits. Actually, no, not lyrics, but credits on this side. A little sniffly too. But then you have the record, which is on the Atlantic label. Very nice, very classy. After that, we have Electric Light Orchestra with a new world record. That is right. Yeah, that's right. I always get the title confused sometimes. So yeah, some ELO, and this is a good one to get. One of their best, I must say. There it is. Very cool. Then let's see, came with the sleeve. Very nice sleeve, by the way. Again, very sturdy too. And then on the back, you have this nice photo of the band right there, and all the credits, who's in the band at this time. So yeah, very nice, very cool, very cool. And let me just go ahead and take out the record for this one as well, because it actually does have different labels on each side. So for side one, let me just get a good feel for it. So side one just gives you everything. The track listing of all the songs and stuff like that. They called side one this side, and they called side two the other side, that's a great description. Then on the back, for side two, you just got the logo. Kind of interesting. I will say, when I first got this, I was kind of like, which one's side one? But yeah, now I know. Okay, so after that, we have a double album, and this one I know for a fact I've shown before, because I've shown it in my top 5 albums of 1970, and that is Jesus Christ Superstar. Great album, as I mentioned in the past. But yeah, there's like it's a great concept album, great rock opera, just so many great performances all around. You have Ian Gillan as Jesus, so you know the drill. But yeah, here is the record. Here's the back, and the gatefold's kind of disappointing. There's really nothing in here, which is kind of sad. That's where the CD issue that I have kind of ones up it a little bit in terms of presentation. But it is a US pressing, by the way. You can tell because the US cover has this. I know the original UK cover had something a little bit different, which I'll probably show off to the side. But yeah, so let me just show off one of the records, because again, the records have the same label. So they are all on the MCA label. So this is the rainbow version. And I know so this kind of shows this is a much later pressing. This is not an original pressing, but still, regardless, still sounds really good. Might be an 80s pressing yeah, it says 1980 on the bottom, so this might be an 80s pressing. Probably a anniversary edition, probably the 10-year anniversary. All right, next. Now, this is another one I've shown because I actually did an unboxing video of it, and that is Jethro Tull, Thick as a Brick. So, one of Jethro Tull's magnum opuses, shall we say. So, let me just take out the record. It did come in this paper sleeve. I'm not sure if this is an original thing it came with, but still kind of interesting. And let me showcase the record first. So, again, both labels are the same. So this is side one, and hold on a sec, some things fell over. Okay, hopefully that'll be fine for now. But anyhow, yeah, so there you have it. So let's put that back in, and let's showcase the sleeve itself, because the sleeve is very cool. And if you know, you know. But for those who don't know, might be a nice little surprise. So, it looks like your standard sleeve, right? Your typical album sleeve. There's the back. But, there's actually more to it. So if you open it up, it is a gatefold. looks kind of normal still, but notice it's kind of, you have this little bottom piece here. Well, you're supposed to flip it down and you have a full-fledged newspaper. So yeah, very cool. This is definitely the most unique packaging I've seen, and you can actually flip through the pages. So this is the first page. You can just turn it over. You can actually read a lot of the articles here. I know Ian Anderson was heavily involved in this one. I think some other person helped write this too, but still, the amount of detail they really put into it, it's just incredible. There's a crossword puzzle and somebody's completed it, and I'm not going to show it because it's probably not appropriate. But yeah, this page has the lyrics to both sides here, which is cool. They even have little comics here. Let's see, it's pretty humorous. It's supposed to be a parody, so of course all the newspaper articles are not that serious either. But yeah, it's very nice. Let me just open it back up. Let's fold this back in and then close it back up. There you have it. So again, great find. In terms of the audio quality, it's not one of my greatest sounding ones, because it definitely has some hissing and some scratching in it, but it still plays really well. It doesn't skip, which is good. Following Jethro Tull, we have the Mamas and the Papas, and of course this is their debut album, If You Can Believe Your Eyes and Ears. I always forget the title of it, but yeah, great 60s pop album. Absolutely love every song on here. It's a perfect album, I must say. So here's them on the cover. So they're in the bathtub, and this is actually there's actually like 4 versions of the cover, and I feel like I've talked about this before, but there's 4 versions of the cover. I happen to have the more common one where they cover up the toilet because it was the 60s, and yeah, showing a toilet was not ideal. But there are versions without this little thing here. So yeah, those are a little bit more pricey. So yep. Oh, I didn't showcase the back real quick. Let's do that real quick. So the back, you have, like your typical 60s album, where it pretty much tells you everything you need to know about the band, which is kind of nice. And then you have the track listing. Then the record on the Dunhill label, which you can kind of see there. All right, very good. All right, now these next chunk is all by the same band, and of course, it's my favorite band. If you know, of course, it is Queen, and I have accumulated a few more Queen since the last video. I think the only Queen album I had back then in March was Sheer Heart Attack, but I have a lot more since then. Some of them I've shown before, some of them I haven't shown before. So I'm pretty sure I haven't shown this one yet, and I was able to find an original US pressing of their debut, which was very cool. Love the debut, by the way. It's one of my favorite debuts ever. Just Queen at their most raw. They're still finding their unique voice, but I still think it sounds incredible. I mean, so many great songs like Keep Yourself Alive, Liar, coming up, Great King Rats, My Favorite King, Jesus. But yeah, great. And then here's the Elektra Butterfly label that tells you that this is an original pressing. Let me go ahead, let me just showcase the back of the record. Again, has all these nice little photos of the band here, both live and just casual. And see, there's something in here. Just looking around, because it does tell you that, again, there was no synthesizers used, which is something they did, or they always said at the bottom of every album. And of course, what's very unique about this particular album is that it's the only Queen album where John Deacon is credited as, hopefully you can see it, but it's a little hard to see, but they credited him as Deacon John because they thought it would make him sound cooler. But by the time we get to Queen 2, then yeah, John was like, yeah, I want my name back, please. And they obliged. But yeah, there you have it. Speaking of Queen 2, I did get a copy. So here's Queen 2. Now this is a 2011 remaster. I've shown this before in many videos actually, so I'm not going to go too in depth here, but yep. So let me just go ahead, take out the record. It's a heavy record. This is like heavy duty vinyl here, which you see a lot in most modern records these days. So side 1 is white, there's black. Again, I've shown this before. I'm just going through the rundown of it just so you see that there. And you have the inner sleeve. You have the white and the black as well. Then in terms of the record, again, it's another gatefold. I'm not a huge fan of these types of gatefolds where you have to flip, where you kind of have to, well, let me just showcase real quick. Hold on a sec. Where you have to do that. I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of that personally, but you know, it has its charm, I guess. But I kind of prefer it if it was this way, you know. I don't want to have to turn it sideways, you know. I'm lazy that way. But yeah, still very cool though. Love this album. The next Queen album I have is another one I've shown before. I unboxed this one as well. I think I unboxed it the same video I did the Jethro Tull one. And that of course is Queen, Night at the Opera, which I've just shown recently on my top 5 albums of 1975. So again, I'm not going to go too in depth. I'm just going to quickly just go through it. So here's the album, here's the back. Open it up, you got the gatefold. Then we go ahead, we look at the record. Both labels are the same. Electra label, Butterfly. Moving on. Okay, next up we have, this is one I've not shown before, and this is the last Queen album I did get, and that is News of the World. I'm never gonna stop making that joke. But anyhow, so again, this is also an original US pressing, which is very cool. Of course, what's great about it, and that's the only downside of my CD copy, is that you don't have the full artwork. However, let me go ahead, let me try to get it out. Here it is. What's cool is that now, again, it does the same thing where it kind of folds downwards, which I said I'm not a huge fan of, but this one I'm actually not too offended by, because it actually does make sense. So you open it up, now you got the full artwork. So again, you have, of course, you have this iconic image of the robot. You know, he just killed the band there. Then you have John and Roger falling, which is something the CD copy didn't have. It didn't have Roger. But yeah, very cool. You get the full scope of how big the robot is. And on the inside, again, you have the robot terrorizing the crowd. So very nice. All right, then see, here's the sleeve. Gives you the lyrics, the little lyric sheet, I should say. Nice little photo of the band here. And then the record, each side's the same, but it just has the Queen logo there. Very elegant. All right, so yeah. Again, my goal is to one day own every Queen album on record. That's a little bit easier said than done, especially when you get to a lot of the later stuff. Because, you know, some of them were not on record. Because I know Made in Heaven is, I don't think it originally came on record, but in 2011 I think it did. So I might try to find that if I can. Alright, so now here's another one I've shown before, and that is Turn of the Cards, and that is of course by Renaissance. Again, great underrated progressive rock band. Again, Annie Haslam's vocals are just so great. But yep, again, I'll go quickly on this one. There's the sleeve, and then here's the record. Pretty nice label, I must say. I like the yellow. I think the yellow really pops. All right. Next, we're almost done, just a few more to go. I can't remember if I have shown this before, but next up, well, I know some of my friends know I have this, but we have the Rolling Stones, we have Let It Bleed, and this is an original pressing as well, so very nice find, and it still sounds really good. So, yep, we all know this record, a lot of us do. So again, you have this album cover, very interesting. I mean, you think it's a cake, but it's actually just a hodgepodge of other stuff. Like, you have a tire, I think there's a pizza there, looks like a pizza, there's a clock, and then there's like, I forgot what these are called, but you know, where they store the tapes, I guess. Then you have the record down there. Then the back, it's basically they took a slice of it. One thing I'm kind of annoyed is that the track listing's out of order, so kind of annoying, but you know, it's whatever. Then you have the sleeve here, this little credit sleeve, just tells you who played on what track. Very nice. Nothing on the back though. Okay, and then the record is on the London Stereophonic label. So yeah, it's a nice blue. Put those away later. Okay, last three, I should say. So we have Simon and Garfunkel, excuse me, Bridge Over Troubled Water. So yeah, I was able to find this one. Go ahead and take it out. Not much to say really. On the back you have all the lyrics. So yeah, very nice. So it does, so the CD copy that I have kind of replicates this whole package here, just truncated, of course. It did come with this like little sleeve here. And then the record is on Columbia. All right, I think I've shown this before, but I can't remember. But we have Supertramp, not Crime of the Century, Breakfast in America. Yep, another one I had to absolutely get because I love this album to death. It's my favorite Supertramp album. I mean, Crime of the Century is probably technically a better album, but I think the songs on Breakfast in America are just very, I hold near and dear to my heart. So again, you have the iconic cover. Then you have the back cover where you have the band at the diner. You have the sleeve here, which has all the lyrics, of course. And this one I will show the front and back because they are different. So on side one, you got a front shot of the waiter there. And on side two, you have the back side. So very nice. I mean, based on I did research this, and that it did win a Grammy for best record packaging, so well deserved, I must say. And then the final record I'll show for today, and that is a hard rock album. We have Slide It In by Whitesnake. And I think I've shown this before too, probably in a record find video, I think. But yeah, Whitesnake, and this is, I don't know, this kind of flip-flops between my favorite and my second favorite, but still, great rock album. This is when the band was really starting to get noticed here in America. And then you have the album cover here, which you have a, you know, speaks for itself. But yeah, now that I think about it, yeah, I did show this before. So again, I'll go through this one quickly. So here, and then there's the back. Then you have a lyric sheet. And then the record, both side one and side two are the same. It's on the Geffen label. And there you have it. So that's all the records that I've accumulated since my first video back in March. So like I said in the video, let me know what are some of your favorites that you saw in this particular batch here. And maybe every 6 months we'll do something similar to this where I show off more records. And maybe one day we'll do a full collection video. Maybe one day, not right now, but sometime in the future. So look forward to that stuff. If you don't want to miss those things, then please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And while you're at it, don't forget to like the video. I already said comment below, but you know the drill. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. So take care and goodbye for now.